Hello and welcome to Secrets of Organ Playing podcast.
This is a show dedicated to helping you become a better organist.
We're your hosts, Vidas Pinkevičius
And Aušra Motūzaitė Pinkevičienė.
We have over 25 years of experience of playing the organ.
And we've been teaching thousands of organists online from 89 countries since 2011.
So now let's jump in and get started with the podcast for today.
We hope you'll enjoy it.
Hi guys, this is Vidas.
And Aušra.
Let's start episode 651 of Secrets of Organ Playing podcast. This question was sent by Doug. And he answered my question, what is your goal in organ playing and what are some challenges that he faces when he tries to reach this goal. So the goal is to become a church organist and basically advanced in hymn playing. And the challenges are three. 1. Pedal techniques. 2. Taking a hymnal with one line and converting it to swell, grate and pedals on the fly. And 3. Grand Orgue or Hauptwerk conversion for some organ to practice on. It's interesting, right? Shall we talk about the goal or about challenges first?
Well, it's up to you.
Alright, let's talk a little bit about the goal. To become a church organist and excel in hymn playing, obviously it's a good goal if people wants to apply their skills in a church setting.
Sure, it's actually a very common goal.
And obviously hymn playing would be the bulk of what you do in church.
Sure, especially if you are, like in the Protestant congregation.
Yes, some other denominations require psalm playing, anthems, accompaniments. If you have a choir, then even you have to direct the choir, lead the choir. Accompaniments like that are also sometimes important. And it wouldn't hurt to play some organ pieces, liturgical organ pieces for prelude and postlude, at least.
Sure.
If not for communion or offertory. But I guess hymn playing can substitute those things too. But the congregation would thank you, I think, if you played a short piece at the beginning of the service and at the end of the service as well.
But definitely, the leading congregational singing and hymn accompanying is probably the most important tool for church organ.
Yes, once you can play hymns, you can advance a little bit further in real organ playing, solo organ playing too. Talking about pedal techniques, I don't know what he means. What do you think he means with challenge in pedal techniques?
Well, since most of us come to organ bench after having some piano background, usually the pedal is the most scary part of playing the organ.
So maybe it's safe to say that he, in general, struggles to play pedals, right?
Yes.
So what can we recommend? Probably recommending pedal virtuoso master course could be a little bit too advanced for him if you only want to, let's say, be a church organist, right? Maybe you don't need pedal scales and arpeggios for that. But we have another smaller course, pedal playing, I think, workshop, it's called, or mini course, or 10 days, I think, workshop, basically, where you play for 10 days basic pedal exercises and can afterwards, I think, play bass lines of any hymn without much difficulty.
That might be very useful.
So that's one recommendation. Another challenge he faces is that he wants to take a hymnal, and this hymnal only has soprano liners, if I understand correctly. And then he needs to convert or harmonize it, right, in 4 parts: swell, grade, and pedals. First of all, you don't need to play on 2 manuals hymns.
Definitely not. You could do that with accompaniment sometimes, but really not always.
Yes, just 1 manual is fairly sufficient.
Because most often you play on 1 manual, you do like soprano and alto voice with your right hand, and then tenor voice with your left hand, and bass line with the pedal.
Exactly. So for this, obviously, we're talking about the skill in harmonization. Well, if you are obviously an advanced harmony teacher, what would you recommend?
Well, I don't know how well he knows music theory in general, but definitely, that's a challenge if you are uneducated, in the music, haven't had any music theory lessons, then I wouldn't recommend for you to harmonize hymns for yourself, because there are so many hymnals. Maybe you could use, the harmonization for particular hymn from the other hymnal that has all the 4 parts written in.
Well, exactly. Let's say you need to play 4 or 5 hymns that week. Your pastor or priest, selected hymns for you, and you need to, figure out the accompaniment. If you are proficient in harmonization, you could supply alto, tenor, and the bass parts yourself. But if not, you could look up that kind of the same hymn setting, let's say online. Just Google cyber hymnal, I think, is one of those sources. You could find a lot of useful hymns and different harmonizations too. So you just print it out and play what's written over there.
Sure, because, if you look at any given hymnal, you could find hymns written composed in various styles. And, being able to harmonize them yourselves, you really need to understand the difference between the styles. Because, if it's 4-part hymn, let's say from 17th century Germany, it would be harmonized in one style, but if the melody is based on Gregorian chant, then completely different rules of harmonizations would apply. So basically it's always a challenge, and if, let's say, the melody of a hymn is composed at the end of 19th century, then definitely your harmonization will have more advanced and more chromatic. So it's a challenge, really, even for professionals.
And we can't forget contemporary melodies, right? Which work well with, let's say, jazz-style chords or pop-oriented music chords. That's also a different style, right?
So I guess, the best suggestions would be, really try to obtain those hymns, that would be harmonized for you already, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. Because learning to harmonize them yourself, it's a long process.
Yes, but if you really want to learn to harmonize, don't jump in to our, I think, organist, harmony for organist level 1 course straight away if you don't know basic chords yet. If you don't know 3-4 note chords and their inversions and how they are resolved into tonic chords and the rules for resolution, then you need to take basic chord workshop first, where I teach those chords in one hand setting. Basically, all those chords could be played with just one hand, not two hands like in 4-part setting. In closed position, basically. So that's the preliminary skill you need to master, foundations of those chords, and then you can move on to harmony level 1.
Yes. It's very, it's a long process, but it's worth trying because you would get really useful skill for your future.
And the last thing he struggles is to find a grand org or Hauptwerk conversion for a home organ to practice on. Obviously, it's very nice to have virtual organ, either grand org or Hauptwerk for home use, because you can listen and hear the sounds of real instruments produced virtually. Each pipe has been recorded, not generated synthetically like a synthesizer, but organ samples that producer went to the church, recorded each and every pipe in several different ways, short, medium length, long length of each pipe, and then created a sample set which obviously encompasses the acoustics of the church as well. If it has reverberation, you would get the same feeling as being in the church while playing that sample set. So that's what Hauptwerk or Grand Orgue uses today. Except Grand Orgue is no longer developed. The basic version of Grand Orgue was developed first. It was like the first version of Hauptwerk, I think, which was made open source, free of charge right now. And then it stopped being developed because it's free. There is no incentive for developers work on a software if you don't get any reimbursement.
Well, but if you don't want to play like repertoire, perform recitals at home, only to learn hymns, then I think it's quite sufficient.
Yeah, at least for starters. You don't know what you will need 5 years from now, all right? So maybe if you start with free software like Grand Orgue, it doesn't hurt right now. So you could look up at our tools what we use for Hauptwerk setup on our website. We have organduo.lt/tools, and you will see how we have set up Hauptwerk at our home. Maybe you will get some ideas for yourself.
Yes, why not?
Thank you guys, this was Vidas.
And Ausra.
Please send us more of your questions, we love helping you grow. And remember, when you practice,
miracles happen.
This podcast is supported by Total Organist, the most comprehensive organ training program online.
It has hundreds of courses, coaching, and practice materials for every area of organ playing. Thousands of instructional videos and PDFs. You will not find more value anywhere else online.
Total Organist helps you to master any piece, perfect your technique, develop your sight reading skills, and improvise or compose your own music, and much, much more.
Sign up and begin your training today at organduo.lt and click on Total Organist. And of course, you will get the first month free too. You can cancel anytime.
If you like our organ music, you can also support us on Patreon and get free CDs.
Find out more at patreon.com/secrets of organ playing.